Hey everybody, it's Trevor here with the channel where every day is range day, and in this week's video we're going to be going through my full review of the X7 belt buckle from Core Essentials. Let's check it out. Alright guys, and as usual, just a disclaimer before we get started here, this belt buckle and belt setup was sent in to us by Core Essentials for a review. We weren't paid for a good review or anything like that, and of course we remain unbiased through our review processes. They just sent it in to us for some testing and review, so that's what we did. So let's get into it. And of course this review is a bit more than just the X7 belt buckle that you can see here. They sent in this multicam black EDC belt for testing, and it also features some of the more recent updates over the original Core gun belt that I got a couple years ago. This includes some new belt materials, the new X7 buckle of course, and then also this little elastic belt keeper strap here that I also sort of mentioned in my full reviews on the regular Core gun belt that I've had for a while. Now we did do a first impressions video on this X7 belt buckle and this new elastic keeper here. That was about almost a year ago at this point. I've had a lot of testing using this as an EDC belt and also a sort of minimalist range belt from time to time when we're down at the range. I was a fan of the original Core belt that I got some time ago that was just black nylon with one of their original buckles. But this X7 has been a great improvement over their original buckles, especially from a concealed carry standpoint. And this little elastic keeper here is also just a nice sort of innovation that helps from more of a wear standpoint. But during this final review, I'll just go over a couple of my final thoughts and overall impressions of how this belt has served as both an EDC belt, primarily for concealed carry purposes, which is what the X7 buckle was designed for, but also as a minimalist range belt, which is one of the reasons I was drawn to Core as a brand to begin with. So starting out with an EDC concealed carry belt, this thing is top notch. I have no reason to need another belt ever in my life, and I'll probably only buy Core Essentials belts from here on. I've had one before this, and there were a couple gripes I had about the size of the buckle and the durability of this little belt keeper they had. The old belt buckle had a much bigger footprint, especially with this rigid metal piece that you can see here. The buckle itself was just a whole lot larger, and when I wear this belt at the 11 o'clock position or so, it can't really bend anywhere as in the large footprint of that giant buckle. They came out with the X7 specifically for concealed carry, and being with its smaller footprint, it serves that purpose much better. It's incredibly comfortable. You about don't even realize that the buckle's there at all. It's just a perfect fit for concealed carry if you ask me. My only other slight issue with the Core belt in terms of durability wasn't with the belt itself, but the little belt keeper that comes with it. These belts are usually pretty rigid, so this excess will stick out from your belt loops based on where it falls around your pants, and you don't want this sticking out from under your shirt or something like that. It's weird, it'll draw your attention to yourself, you don't want that. So they offered these little belt keepers here that help secure this tight to the belt so it stays firmer around your waist. It's a good solution for the rigid belts, but the old belts just had a simple Velcro loop that you could open and close. It's a little easier to put on there, I guess, but after about 6-8 months of using the belt, the Velcro piece was just shot. I mean, they are pretty cheap and you can get a replacement from Core for only a couple bucks, but I'd hate to have to just replace that piece over and over and over as I wear the belt. The belt will far outlast that keeper piece, and I just didn't really like the Velcro. There could have been a better option. I even talked about a similar setup as this one that you can see here in my review. And then lo and behold, right around the time that review came out, so did this. This is just a durable sort of nylon, almost like shock cord material. That Core is fashioned into a loop, slides right around your belt like this. Then when you thread your belt through the buckle, it just wraps around the end, stretches over it just a little bit, and keeps it in place. There's essentially no wear and tear on this piece at all, and I absolutely love that. It was the answer to all of my sort of small complaints about the old version of belt I had. Buckle a little too big, get the X7. Velcro piece wears out, just get this little elastic piece instead. Been absolutely perfect from that perspective and has served its purpose fantastically in the EDC environment as well. The belt itself has held up tremendously well from a physical standpoint. There's not really any wear, maybe just a little bit of wear at the tail end of the belt here where it keeps getting fed in and out of the buckle. This is going to be your primary wear point right here when you put the belt on and take it off. These little corners have a little bit of, I don't know, call it fraying if you will, but nothing all that significant. The ratcheting system that Core is known for is still incredibly strong. It doesn't slip or anything like that. The teeth still bite onto the ratchets phenomenally. Nothing's worn down or anything like that. Everything has held up tremendously for over the past about a year or so. And overall, I've been incredibly happy with the belt, especially from the durability perspective. In terms of the EDC concealed carry usage, I carry about every day this Glock 19 in an appendix set up just like this. The clips snap right over the belt, just like so. and the belt is able to support this weight perfectly fine. It lines up great with the concealment wing on the holster itself, and I've had absolutely no problems using this belt as my EDC concealed carry. Never have any issues taking the holster on and off of it, and the clips themselves also don't damage the belt. I mean, they're just plastic, but there hasn't been any damage from the holster on the belt as well. Of course, Core did supply another belt sleeve if you had metal clips that might be a bit more abrasive on the fabric or material of the belt that you chose. But since I just use the plastic clips, I don't really need that belt sleeve. If you use something like the discrete carry concepts clips, like on the holsters that we talked about a couple weeks ago from A&I Manufacturing, maybe that belt sleeve is something I would look into. Those metal clips sliding on and off here might grab and tear at some of this material a little bit more, be it the multicam black patterning or some nylon material, something like that, or even if it's leather, you'd probably want that little bit more protection, especially if you plan on carrying a holster with metal clips. That being said, that belt sleeve is a great solution for that. It's very low profile and you probably won't even notice you have it on there. It'll just protect the finish of your belt if that's something that matters to you. But if you have plastic clips like on these Tier 1 concealed holsters or even the T-Rex arms holster, no problems whatsoever. So from an EDC perspective, I'd give it top marks. It's a perfectly performing belt, and I've worn this just about every day where I don't need to wear like a dressier leather type belt or something like that. That being said, I am thinking about getting just like a brown leather one or something that I can wear in an office, or just a bit nicer space where you don't want a multicam black gun belt showing. Just wear a nice leather belt instead. Because I'm so used to having this perfect adjustability where I get the great fit that these ratcheting style belts provide, that when I use a normal like 6 or 8 hole belt, it just doesn't quite fit right. I'm always in between the belt holes. I just miss this adjustability. So I'll probably end up picking up a leather belt as well, just because I like this ratcheting style so much. And I don't really have any reason to switch away from a Core brand belt. That being said, EDC perspective, can't recommend it enough. Super solid option. You'll never go wrong with it. It'll last a super long time, and this X7 buckle specifically is top notch for concealed carry. Its profile is greatly reduced, and you'll hardly notice it's there when you're carrying concealed all day. I've absolutely loved having it as my EDC belt buckle. And apart from the buckle, the belt itself is also phenomenal. Multicam black, enough said. The Core products I've used so far have held up great. No concerns about it either. But apart from just EDC concealed carry, I also kind of talk about using these belts for a sort of dual purpose range belt. They're not quite as handy as a full purpose built range belt, something like the T-Rex Arms Orion or other, range dedicated only belt like that, but they're also a heck of a lot cheaper, and then you get 2 belts in one, EDC concealed carry style belt, then also something that you can rig up for sort of a minimalist range setup. Maybe you can't carry 6 different mags and 2 med kits and a dump pouch and 3 guns or something on your belt with something this light duty, but this belt will definitely serve in a pinch for something where you only need, say, a sidearm and a couple mags. Personally, I use the T-Rex Arms Ragnarok here with a thigh strap on one side, again for the Glock 19. And then on the other side, I have 2 S-Tac pouches. One's double pistol and then a single AR mag. And this belt has no problem supporting both the loaded pistol and then these 3 loaded mags on the side. I have the utmost confidence that you'd probably be able to put a small med kit and maybe a dump pouch on the back, because if you have a dump pouch, you're not really adding any extra weight. You're just moving stuff that's used and putting it in the back. And for that quick range purpose, this belt again serves its purpose beautifully. The only sort of downside of doing something like this is that every time you want to get your belt set up, you have to thread each and every piece on like this. It kind of sucks to do it compared to having a dedicated belt, because while all your friends just take off their concealed carry belts and buckle over their T-Rex Arms Orion or other range belt that's dedicated for it, you have to take this stuff off, thread it all on like this, and get it lined up each and every time just how you like it. But plus side of that, you only need 1 belt to do all of this. So if you're looking for just something to pop on for a quick range trip every now and again, this serves that purpose beautifully. And again, as I've been talking out, that's about all the time it takes to get everything threaded on here. And again, this is the typical setup here, all threaded up, Glock 19 with the T-Rex Arms Ragnarok on one side, and then a couple S-Tac mag pouches, 2 pistol and 1 AR on the side. The belt is more than strong enough to support this amount of weight on you. It doesn't jostle around too much whenever you're drawing a mag or a pistol or something like that. And if you have a small med kit, there's even some more real estate on the back here. I'm sure this belt could handle that little bit more weight. Now, it's never going to be able to support as much stuff as a dedicated range belt, but Core Essentials does offer a slightly upgraded version from just a regular EDC belt that is a bit more range built. It has a slightly higher weight capacity, maybe 10 pounds or so as opposed to 7, what this is rated for. But this particular setup I have here can function dual purpose as a minimalist range belt. I've used my other Core products for the similar setup in the past, and this one also follows suit, and I've been very happy with it from the range perspective as well. And that about sums it up, guys, for the Core Essentials tactical gun belts and this X7 concealed carry buckle kindly sent in by Core Essentials. If you're looking for a multi-purpose gun belt that works fantastically from an EDC perspective, Core is definitely a recommended option for me. And if you're looking for a slightly more comfortable buckle from a concealed carry perspective, the X7 is top notch. It's got a super small footprint, holds on just as well as any of the other buckles, and you'll hardly notice it's there when you're carrying. Overall, this X7 buckle and the multicam black belt has been an absolute joy to have as my EDC setup for the past year, and I plan to keep on carrying it for the foreseeable future, but I might pick up a leather option for when I can't just be wearing multicam black in like a more formal setting. From an EDC concealed carry perspective, it's top notch. This buckle footprint and this little elastic belt keeper are phenomenal at what they do, and I would highly recommend it for that application. And if you're looking for something that can also serve dual purpose as a lighter duty range belt, I would also recommend this setup as well. It just does a great job. It can support a gun holster with a couple mags on the side and maybe even a dump pouch and a med kit on the back. If you want a bit more kit than that, you can look into some of Core's upgraded, more range duty belts, or just get yourself a dedicated gun belt. But if you want to save a little bit of money and go with something that can be dual purpose, this is a perfect setup also. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like down below. And if you have any questions about the belt buckle setup you see here, the X7, or any of the products from Core, or how I use the setup from an EDC or a range perspective, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks again to Core Essentials for sending this out for testing and review. It's been great and I would recommend it. And as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel, where every day is range day. Thank you for watching.